Welcome everybody to WeVideo, our Appy Hour topic of the day. With me today, I have two rock guests that are members of the instructional technology team, Rachel O'Connell and Ryan McNabb. And I'm going to start with Rachel. If you want to unmute yourself, just say hi and give a quick background about yourself.
Hi, I'm Rachel O'Connell. I'm an instructional technology specialist currently, looking to become a media specialist at the end of, well, basically for next school year. And
awesome. And all right, keep going.
I was just going to say I have 23 years in the county, very experienced with a lot of different grade levels and subject areas.
And with us, and Ryan?
Thank you.
My name is Ryan McNabb, and like Rachel, I've been in the county for a long time, 23 years. Last 15 or so in the instructional specialist capacity, and being at a elementary school in 3rd and 1st grade.
We'll be here to kind of guide us through the fun that is WeVideo. This is our agenda for the day. Of course, we're going to start with what is it, then roll to instructional implications, and focus on teacher use and student use. These blur together a little bit. That's okay. We love that we can be very fluid with our instruction here on Appy Hour, and of course, your questions will drive us as well. If you're live with me today, go ahead and let me know that you're cool with the agenda, that you're good with it by giving me an emoticon in the chat. If you happen to be someone who doesn't like emoticons, you can, of course, just say yes. And that's my way of getting you to, like the digital nod from afar. WeVideo. That's kind of our first starts. But before we jump there, let me ask you a question. What video editing software apps have you used in the past? Go ahead and throw answers in the chat. And everybody, from my presenters to otherwise, tell me what are the apps you've used in the past? After here, I've got Premiere Elements cover there. Oh, that's a good. Let's see. Sony Vegas, Movie Maker, iMovie, Photo Story. A ton there. Video is one of them. Raise the skin. Give us a quick, what is WeVideo? And what does it do that, kind of replaces the two apps we talk about there, Photo Story and Movie Maker?
So WeVideo is what we call an app, which is actually really just a website. It's free. There is a free version, of course, if you want to get a little bit more time per month in recordings. You can pay more, but for the most part, you can get away with using the free version of WeVideo. So again, it is a website that teachers and students can use to create videos. Now, the videos can have still pictures. You can actually dump video clips into WeVideo and use video editing to shorten those clips or pick out the part of the clip that you want to use. You can add music, captions, voiceovers, that kind of thing. So very similar to Photo Story in that Photo Story allows you to do all of those things except for the video part, and Movie Maker really is quite similar, where you bring in your pictures and your video clips and your mix. There is some music available on WeVideo, so you don't have to buy anything and you don't have to find your own.
So WeVideo is a nice free app that allows you to put together stories, and it has some upgrades over Photo Story because you have movies in there, and it does with all that free sound, which is a real benefit when we make sure we're compliant with copyright law.
Can I add something real quick?
Please, Ryan, jump on in.
Okay. One other thing about WeVideo, it's nice because you can kind of grow with it. There are different settings, so you can basically have it in an easier setting. So as you're starting to learn it, and as you become more proficient with it, you can switch over to a more advanced storyboard look.
they bring
It grows
that up.
with you.
To bring it up, Brian, because today I was meeting with a 5th grade team who is using WeVideo to their book trailer project, and I'm telling them that the easier way of doing it, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is the storyboard mode. They started to say, well, maybe some of the kids would want to do voiceovers, and if you want to do something like that, then you might have to move into the more advanced timeline mode, where you're making the clips a certain size. So you can use
and that's really, it's really great that it definitely grows with you. And we're going to show you some of the final products. My screen's going to change just a second. Don't worry, that's supposed to happen. We'll show you some of these things, kind of like give you the end in mind, whether it is that 5th graders wanting to do cool new stuff, or whether we're, beginners and basics. And on you, that's okay. It's coming over. And it's shifting. There we go. And we're back. One of the first things we wanted to do was give you the end in mind and kind of show you some of the opportunities. And Rachel did mention book trailer. I'm going to press play here. An example of a book trailer that's made with WeVideo. You could see still images we talked about. Little groovy music. Dance there. And you can see how they're able to layer text on top of the different images that they see. For another little bit of a fun one here, we have a Jumanji one. And I'll my music down a little bit. But you see, this has a little bit more with written text by themselves. Employing a white background. Just pop in. And this one, I really like this one. I think you showed me this one. This is that story. The students themselves, oops, let me make sure I stop my other audio here. They used, sorry, sometimes it's a little hard to get that down. There we go. They were able to tell a story here using pictures that they made up themselves and words. I also mentioned 5th grade, is a time when people use this in their book trail projects, but it is also a tool that can go for a higher level, for a high school level. And so the project they did on bullying, where you see images coming in, doing the same things, but it's just slightly more sophisticated.
Yeah, it's a really nice way for students to be able to show what they learned in a different format, than from a type paper or completing some like organizer. It's a really nice way to kind of think a little bit outside of the realm of the normal ways of showing that you learned something.
Gets us to universal learning by design, gets us moving up the technology integration continuum, and it also just really respects our students' abilities and their ability to learn. Now, I'm going to pop in the chat right now. If talk to me, you probably don't see the chat on your screen. That's okay. Roll your cursor up to the very top and find the little chat box. It looks like a little icon. And to do that, the chat will open for you. I'm going to drop in a link to this document that I'm talking about and sharing on screen right now. If you can choose to join me here. Set up this nice little box here, and I'm actually going to delete that out for a second. And I'm going to ask you all in the chat to go share one idea that you might have for WeVideo after watching those. You came here for a reason. What are you thinking about using it? Then throw your ideas in the chat. If you don't have any, you can give me a 3 ellipse. That kind of tells me you're still thinking. But share with me, what ideas do you have for WeVideo based on those examples? Of course, 3 are also linked here. I'll share this document with you when we end as well. Go share your thoughts in the chat. You'd be thinking, clearly, what's your idea? What's going on? The one that came privately to me, bringing Greek mythology to life for 4th graders, absolutely. That could be student-driven or you as a teacher-driven, absolutely. And yes, social studies describing an event in history or current event, perfect. A commercial for health education, wonderful. Who's not here, but I'll say inquiry projects. Inquiry projects and inquiry projects. That was a shout out to Lisa Fuller. And so many different ideas. So the next question we have for you is, how do you make these ideas come to life? Well, we'll give you a universal hint, but it really works with WeVideo as well. You want to make sure you start with storyboarding for your students. You want to make sure they've planned what they're going to say before they jump into the tech. So Rachel has given us 2 templates here. I'm going to open up the first one for you, Rachel. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sorry, for a second, and I had to get back up to the top. I'm going to mute myself. So this is just one example of how you could use a storyboard. So you want the students to be thinking about how their presentation will look. And the best way to do that is to plan out in advance. If you could scroll down a little bit, Carrie. This one gets the viewer or the students thinking about what their title would be of their each slide, and then it gives them a box to either draw a picture or write a little description of the picture that they want to download from the internet, or if they gather pictures that they've taken around the classroom, and they can put this in a teacher could either print this out or use it as a Google Doc, send it out to the students through Classroom, and the students could type in their responses for what they want to show up when they go to type their captions in WeVideo. It gives them a little place to think about what transitions they might want to use between different pictures. And if you're starting very simple, you might just want to lay off the transitions. Kids can get really wrapped up in the transitions and finding perfect one. And sometimes I find that some of the transitions don't look good between pictures. So for really simple projects, you could just leave that part out.
Rachel, this is the real key here, is it gives them all the stuff they need before they go to the tech.
Absolutely.
It will lower the production time. It will speed them up. And for those kids who are like me and a little, I know like you, when we get perfectionists with the visual design, it makes sure that the focus is on the instructional purpose at the visual design purpose.
Right. Right. Prior to this, there's some work that you would need to do as far as what pictures. I think Carrie's going back to some links.
And we'll talk about that as well. Yep. But this is on our storyboard. This is not, of course, the only way to storyboard. I'll just pull up real quick a second one, and you know that these are all available to you if you choose to use them. This one is a little bit more designed since it's an image to be used by printing it out, but you will get a lot of bang for your buck by planning. Those things you absolutely have to plan for, I'll come back over to my down here, is collecting your images. And these are 4 different sites that Rachel has posted in here for you. My absolute favorite is Pixabay. I'm going to click on it and open it up. And it allows you to search for copyright-free, you do not need to cite them, images your students can use. So go ahead in the chat. What's a project idea that you want me to search for a picture for? So throw a word in the chat for me. And search it. Freedom. Search freedom. And all of these pictures come up. And maybe this one down here, this one right here speaks to me. What you want the students to do is make sure this picture gets to their Google Drive, gets organized, gets in a saved location. Because they're going to want to have all their images ready and curated. And that speaks to your organization within Google Drive, with making sure they have a folder for this project and they are moving their documents into said folder. The other ones as well, and I'll actually invite, if Lynn, if you wouldn't mind, or you guys would get these links into the chat, and you already did, because you're rockstar, you can come back and check out any of these for looking for different images to support your students' work. If you have any questions about the storyboarding or the images, go ahead and put them in the chat right now, and we'll be glad to help you.
Mention that ImageQuest is a subscription service that CPS pays for. It's through the company Britannica. If you're at school, you will not need a username and password. If you are working at home, you would just check with your media specialist to get your usernames and passwords for the different online services. But we pay this, so we know that when they go searching through ImageQuest, there are not going to be any questionable images that they will find.
And who's ever searched, say, Pixabay for something live on demand in a webinar, you don't want to find inappropriate images. So that is great to know.
Learning is pretty safe too. It's intended for young children, and they're all copyright-friendly images. So that's one that I really like using as well.
If anyone has any questions on that they want to search for or ask us so we can give answers to, go ahead and do so in the chat. If you're on the storyboarding and the images, you can give me an emoticon in the chat, and we're going to jump straight into WeVideo itself. Let's get ourselves to WeVideo. Now, what is it? We did mention to you, I'm going to do a search here, watch this. We mentioned that WeVideo is an app, and apps are really just web pages. Don't a great stage where web pages are this cool. You can find it in the Chrome store, and see a little blue button here that says Visit Page. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. When you log in, you will need to choose one of your Google accounts, and of course, I use my educator account, and I'm going to allow permissions to be able to get to this Rockstar tool. Here we are. Rachel, can you give us a little bit of a tour for what you're going to see here?
So this is your dashboard for WeVideo. If it is your first time getting in, of course, you're not going to have any videos there, but as you can see, Carrie's been in before and she's made a few videos. To point out, on the left-hand side, it tells you how much time you have. It is a per month time. I thought it was 5 minutes, but it does say 7 minutes and 30 seconds, so they up the amount of time that you get per month. So that's pretty, I don't think you're going to go over 7 minutes and 30 seconds per month. So
Rachel, so we're here and we know we've got 5 minutes of time. What's the first thing a teacher needs to do when they log in? So they're here first. What's the first thing they need to do?
So they're going to click on Create New. So that will start their new project.
Stuff are in here, but your typical teacher probably will come in and they're going to see images and videos, but I made a little project with my kids, so I see images and videos here, and your students will want to get their images and videos into this space. What are they going to do to get their pictures? They spent all that time on Britannica looking up.
So let me just mention that Carrie right now is in the storyboard mode, which I think is a great first step for this video. So in order to get your picture videos into WeVideo, you're going to come up to where Carrie is pointing. It's a little green cloud, and that says Import Media. So if you're on a desktop computer, you're working on something, you would click Browse to select. But most of the kids are going to be on their Chromebooks. They've collected a bunch of pictures. I'd recommend putting them in some kind of folder so that they're easily found. And then you're going to click on, under Import from Social Sites, you're going to click on Google Drive, the Google Drive symbol. And they won't have to pick their account, hopefully. But if they do, they should pick their MCPS account. Then you see your list of folders. You can search. So as long as you have your pictures in a folder or you know the names of them, I think doing the folder idea is the best. So let's just pick the picture called Carrie JPEG. We're looking for pictures that for files that are either PNG files or JPEG files. So Carrie has, it didn't take very long. She only had one picture, of course. And so we can either do one of two things. You can click on the plus sign. When you hover over the picture, you'll see a plus sign at, and it will automatically drop it into your stored, or you can click and drag your images down into the storyboard. So both ways work very easily. You'll notice that there is also a title tile, so you will want to go back to that. You click on the title, a pencil, or double click on it, and it will open up your editor. And you can type in your title. You can change the formatting, font size, that kind of thing, and the alignment. So you can see as Carrie is typing that, it changes the preview on the right-hand side. And when she's done, I like her title. And when you're done with making any changes, you just hit Done Editing. If you want to do captions on a picture, you just need to click on the picture. And again, same kind of process, click on the pencil. And you just type in your caption. Like you can make changes to the size, the color, the format, the alignment, just by moving that around. And when you're done with that part, you can click on Done Editing.
So this is a great chance to have folks, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. If you don't, you can give me a good little smiley face there. Rachel has shared that once you've logged in and made your new project, you can come and add media using this green on here. The way to get images that you've uploaded in is just to drag and drop them down. You pull in videos and other such, and if you want to add captions to them, which is so useful, you just click on the little pen. That doubly works if you decide you want to put a title and make your title be fantastic. Now, Rachel, they've started to do their video. They've done some pieces. There's a couple kind of high-end things you want to let people know. I'll get a video down here just in case you know anything about it. Tell her kind of the high-end things they need to know on the screen, and then maybe we'll switch that other layout and look a little bit at it.
Okay, so now that you've put in your pictures, you've added your captions, maybe you want to have a theme, so kind of a background through your title page and some music. So over on the left-hand side, to the left of the storyboard, you'll see a little magic wand, and that will open up the dialog box for themes. So if you click on that, right now it's just a basic blue theme, but you pick one of these other themes, not only do you get a theme for the background of pages, you also will get something that comes along with it. So
do we have anybody looking at the ones you're seeing right now in the chat? Want to tell me which one you want me to pick? Hi, Jamie. This is so cool. Especially when you see that you can do the voiceovers and change the music, like Rachel's going to say. Do I have a pick? Confetti. Jamie, you win. We're going to do some confetti here.
And Jamie, yes, you can do voiceovers.
We're going to use this theme. Fantastic. And so then Rachel's going to tell us a little bit about that, a little bit about that music and that theme as well. I'm guessing that's this next button down here.
You pick a theme, and it automatically comes with music, but you don't like the music that automatically comes with the theme. You can click on the music note, and it will allow you to go into a folder of free music.
I'll turn that lovely free music down, but it is free, which is delightful. And you can pick other ones, right?
Right. So you change your music selection. I'm pretty sure that if you have free music that you've downloaded from a website that has free music, you can upload that as media and also use that as well.
So we decided we're going to use this track. We're going to go use track.
Find the perfect one. Put it track.
Let's get to Jamie's question. Look at this last little button down here. What's it going to do for us?
That's to allow you to put a voiceover on top of your slide. Now, the one thing to think about, well, first of all, you're going to be asked to allow for your microphone to be used. If you're on a desktop computer that does not have a built-in microphone, you will connect one on a Chromebook. Obviously, they have their own microphone, so you'll just have to hit the allow button. And then you would just click on the microphone.
And there may not work, folks, because guess what? I'm talking to all, but you would click on it, gives you a nice countdown, which is just a slick there, and then it records for you. Now that I'm finished, Rachel, what do I do?
I hit the green check mark. Now, I will warn you, if you are going to do a voiceover, you probably don't want to do it in this storybook mode, because you're going to want your voiceover to time with the pictures that are showing. It's a little bit trickier to do it this way than it would be to do in the other mode, and I think we're pretty much, I'll just explain how you can change the length of the amount of time that a on the screen. And that
so before we show that next mode, it's going to show us, we're just going to pick the length of how long something goes. So let me show you guys here that this is a preview version, so you can kind of see what Rachel's going to say. See how long each of these are taking? That's too long. You don't want me smiling with my thumbs up 5 seconds. So Rachel, I'm going to click on it, and
there are arrows on either side that you can pull in or pull out to change the length of the amount that that particular picture would be on screen. With a video, you can't change that length. You would have to cut the video in order to change its length, and you don't want to just do that willy-nilly. You would want to, of course, cut out part that was not important.
The part that wasn't intuitive to me but may help everybody else out, and of course if you have any questions, throw them in the chat, is in this mode, the pictures look just as long, whether it's 0.2 seconds down here or 4 seconds. Don't worry, it's going to play how you expect it to, but again, this is the simpler mode. It's straightforward. It goes time after time, and it's kind of for that baseline editing. When you really get into that, I want time and times and music and layering. It's probably time we're going to want to take them to the other kind of mode. What's that one again?
Actually, one more. I want to show one more thing before we go to the other mode, and this you could also do in the other mode. But if you go back up to the top of the screen, right under the word My Video, there's a little A. And this will allow you so that when you click, please. So when you first came in, you saw that there was a title slide. But you might want an end slide. So you have a slide and a text slide. The end slide will give you kind of like a credit so that the student can go and put their name, and it will have been directed and produced and written, all of those kind of things by the student. So you would just double click or click on the pencil. Either one will open up the editor, and you'll see where students will be able to put their name.
And they really want to go high-end, not just telling you which way they go. What are we going to do next to switch them to the next mode?
Okay, so we're going to go up to the 3 lines on the top left-hand side of the screen, and you see the option to change to the timeline mode.
Storyboard people, we're going to timeline, and I think you're going to immediately see that it's a little more complex. In chat, can anyone throw out what's the stuff you immediately start to notice? Like, go in the chat. You've come over to this timeline mode. What do you notice about this that's different from the other version? Different tracks, layers, shows. You got Jocelyn there, and so you can and you also, if you didn't notice, there's also some extra buttons up here as well that are going to kind of come in handy. Rachel, give me this one real quick, maybe a 30-second in case to get people kickstarted on this one. And then we'll jump to our next segment.
So what this allows you to do, this timeline mode, allows you to do is much easier add your voiceover. So if you go over to the bottom right-hand side where there's a little scroll bar next to, on the other side of the screen where there is a scroll bar.
And I'm guessing you want me to tell me what you want me to do, because I've gone to both sides.
Sorry, not that scroll bar, the one that's on the far right-hand side, so that you can see that there are other tracks Thank you.
There we go. There's a lot I was going for these scroll bars down here. The side scroll bar, if you come down, we have theme music, and we have, oh, look, guys, we found our voiceover. How exciting. I can move it anywhere I want.
Right. That is by doing the voiceovers in the storyboard mode just doesn't work that well because it just puts it right at the beginning. And you really have to work very hard in order to get it to all line up. So this, you can move it so that it lines up with the pair that the regular voiceover belongs. You can move it, as Carrie did. She moved it up to the audio line. That's what you don't want to put it on the video line, but it can be on the audio line. You don't have to keep it on the same track that it initially puts it on. If you are recording voiceovers, if you start the timeline mode, I think it will put it on the audio, but you can move those.
And it looks like, Rachel, on the advanced modes, you just have a whole lot more control, which is, I think, useful for these tools. I'm going to invite you to play around with them and to make the best decision and the best match instructionally for your students. Because the older they get, the more advanced they get, the more experienced they can make a whole lot more. And if they made one, they'll be able to make more. So we want to talk right now about the finished product. Let's say we love this video. What do I do to get this published and out?
Okay, so when you're completely done with your video, you're going to go to the Finish button.
When it's labeled to make sense, so I'm going to click on Finish.
It's so easy.
And my video too, fitting.
The title. And I'm going to just choose the 480p because that is the standard for the free version. Now, see down at the bottom for destinations that you have the option to save it to YouTube or Google Drive. There are some other options there, but I think most people either pick YouTube or Google Drive. You can always put it in your Google Drive and later on put it YouTube on your YouTube channel. If you click Google Drive, it will allow you to pick
want it to be. And we're not going to actually publish here today because and here's the good reason, folks. We use WeVideo free, and the drawback is it has this big created with WeVideo on it. But the benefit is, hey, it's free. Now we do know that certain courses in MCPS do have at this moment, times change in our recording. They do have some pay-for versions, but we want to be mindful with you and your students that there are some limits on how much you can publish. And those that change over time, as you saw, Rachel, the first thing you did was say, wow, is it 7 minutes now? Let me give you some good advice. If you're making videos with students, keep it short and simple. A 5 video takes a tremendous amount of time, and you have to watch it. So keeping videos to 90 seconds, 2.5 minutes at the outset will be a benefit. It will also keep them free. And you'll also want to remind them not to publish all the time. They have a limited amount of publish time per month. They should really only come here when they're really, really finished. And so, I'm not finished. And is that, Rachel? Because Jocelyn agrees that free is better. And of course, Jocelyn also asked what happens to the older videos. Since they're in Drive or on YouTube, you can delete them.
You can, yeah. Well, and if you realize, okay, so I used this for a project that I did for a class I'm taking, and I watched my video. I'm a perfectionist, and I saw, oh, my God, I had published it, and I watched it and didn't like what I saw. So you can go back in, make changes, because they all save as projects, and you can edit that project and republish it. That does not count as different videos. You would just replace the first one with the second one. I also saw that you asked about privacy settings. So if you say in your Google Drive, unless you share it with someone, it is private. No, so if the students are using this, they would need to make sure that they shared it with you so that you would be able to view it, but nobody else would be able to see it besides the people they share it with. If you put it on YouTube, you can also have the kids put it so that only people that are given the link access to that video. It would be, so in a sense, it's private. If they kept, in other words, nobody can search for their video. So yes, it can be very private.
now that they've published, they're probably going to want to share. Jamie, there are some rules about how much you can or can't, and the big one is how long it is. So if you're keeping your students' videos short and succinct, they're going to be able to make some really cool stuff. I'm sharing my screen right now and kind of pull back to here and to see if there are any additional questions as well, and if there aren't any, you can get a smiley face, and then I'm going to ask Rachel and Ryan, who are with me today, if they have any parting shots.
Well, Jamie asked about a maximum number of voice or soundtracks. I'm aware, when I was doing my project, I probably had a total of about 5 or 6 tracks. If you get the directions, there's a little plus sign, and you can keeping on that plus sign and adding more tracks. The problem is that you then have to do a lot of scrolling to see the tracks. You can kind of squish them and make them a little bit skinnier so that you can see more of the tracks. So it's really a matter of how many you want to be able to manage.
And now parting shots as we go forward. I'll also say if folks want to share in the chat, if they've been inspired for a project they might not have before for WeVideo, share what you're thinking in the chat. And Rachel first and then Ryan, what are best advice for people going forward and using this tool for instruction?
Story before you actually get kids on. I think having a plan and that thinking about what pictures they want to use the websites that we give you. They're all copyright friendly. You don't have to tell with them, so or cite where you got them. So do, and then it will take so much less time. Start small and then move up to some of the other skills.
Right.
Definitely, I just kind of echo what Rachel said. Start small. I can't emphasize that I can't emphasize that enough. And we focused a lot of today on using it with pictures. That is probably where I would That's probably where I would start as well. Get your under you, and then dive into including videos and such.
My advice would be to trust yourself and trust your students. This tool is one that works with you. It grows with you, small to large, and trust that they can do this, they will do this, and they will be super excited themselves when they finish. Everyone for coming today. If for support until July 30th, every school has 2 instructional technology specialists. We're, of course, working in 2017, so contact them for support. We do live weekly Appy hours, so every week for the next month or 2, we're going to be doing our shows. Please sign up in PDO and join us, and know that we've recorded all of our Appy hours. So if you saw something you liked today, or maybe you just want to get back and learn some more cool topics, I am dropping in the chat a link to Appy Hour right now. And also free to connect with a bunch of us. Ryan and Rachel, if you want to throw your Twitter handles in there as well. If you follow us on Twitter, we actually tweet about really cool ways to integrate technology with induction. And that, of course, is our... We send you forth and say, keep connecting cool apps with Rockstar Instruction. We know you're doing great work, and thanks for joining us today.